The new federal states of Germany of the 5 re-established states in the former German Democratic Republic that acceded to the Federal Republic of Germany with its 10 states upon German reunification on 3 October 1990. Subsequently, the Gesellschaft für deutsche Sprache chose the term as German Word of the Year. The new states, which had been abolished by the East German government in 1952 and were re-established in 1990, are Brandenburg, Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, Saxony-Anhalt and Thuringia, the state of Berlin. The result of a merger between East and West Berlin is usually not considered one of the new states, although many of its residents are former East Germans. Since the reunification, Germany thus consists of 16 states with equal legal statuses. Yet the process of the inner reunification between the former Eastern and Western Germany is still ongoing. Culture. Persisting differences in culture and mentality among the Old East Germany and Old West Germany are often referred to as the wall in the head. Ossis are stereotyped as racist, poor and largely influenced by Russian culture. Wessis are usually considered snobbish, dishonest, wealthy, and selfish. The terms can be considered disparaging. In 2009, 20 years after the fall of the wall, a poll found that 22% of former East Germans considered themselves real citizens of the Federal Republic. 62% feel in a kind of limbo, no longer citizens of East Germany but not fully integrated into the unified Germany. Around 11% would have liked to have East Germany back. A 2004 poll found that 25% of West Germans and 12% of East Germans wished reunification had not happened. Some East German brands have been revived, appealing to former East Germans who are nostalgic for the goods they grew up with. Brands revived in this manner include Rotkäppchen, which holds about 40% of the German sparkling wine market, and Zeta, the sports shoe maker that supplied most of East Germany's sports teams and also the Soviet national football team. Pornography and prostitution were outlawed in the GDR as forms of exploitation, and West Germans commonly believe that those who grew up in the GDR are more sexually inhibited than the Western counterparts. Nonetheless, better access to higher education and jobs along with free abortion, contraception and generous family policies made East German women generally more promiscuous with respect to the sex life. Another notable difference is the attitude towards naturism or FKK in German. While it existed in both East and West, only in the East was it a mass cultural phenomenon in which almost everybody participated. This can still be seen at beaches of former East Germany compared to the West German counterparts. More children are born out of wedlock in Eastern Germany than in Western Germany. In 2009, in Eastern Germany 61% of births were to unmarried women, while in Western Germany 27% were. The states of Saxony-Anhalt and Mecklenburg-Western Pomerania had the highest rate of birth outside wedlock, each with 64%, followed by Brandenburg with 62%. The state of Baden-Württemberg had the lowest rate with 22%, followed by Hesse and Bavaria, each with 26%. Economy. The economic reconstruction of Eastern Germany is proving to be more long-term than originally foreseen. The standard of living and annual income remains significantly lower in the new federal states. Reunification cost the federal government €2 trillion. At reunification, almost all East German industry was considered outdated. The government privatized 8,500 state-owned East German enterprises. Since 1990, between €100 billion and €140 billion a year have been transferred to the new states. More than $60 billion were spent supporting businesses and building infrastructure in the years 2000 2006 to 2008, a €156 billion economic plan, Solidarity Pact 2, came into force in 2005, and provides the financial basis for the advancement and special promotion of economy of the new federal states until 2019. The solidarity tax, a 5.5% surcharge on the income tax, was instated by the Kohl government to restore the infrastructure of the new states to the levels of the Western ones and to apportion the cost of the unification as well as the expenses for the Gulf War and the European integration. The tax, which raises €11 billion a year, will be maintained until 2019 at least. Ever since the reunification, the unemployment rate in the East has been almost twice that of the West. The unemployment rate reached 12.7% in April 2010, after having reached a maximum of 18.7% in 2005. In the 1999 to 2009 decade, economic activity per person has risen from 67% to 71% of Western Germany, according to Wolfgang Tiefensee in 2009, the minister then responsible for the development of the new federal states. The gap is closing. Quote, Eastern Germany is also the part of the country least affected by the 2007-2008 financial crisis. All the new federal states, excluding Berlin, qualify as Objective 1 development regions within the European Union, and are eligible to receive investment subsidies of up to 30% until 2013. Infrastructure. The German Unity Transport Projects is a program launched in 1991 and meant to upgrade the infrastructure of Eastern Germany, and modernize transport links between the old and new federal states. The program consists of 9 rail and 7 motorway projects, as well as 1 waterway project, for a total funding of €38.5 billion. As of 2009, all 17 projects are either under construction or have already been completed. The construction of new railway lines and high-speed upgrades of existing lines reduce journey times between Berlin and Hanover from over 4 hours to 96 minutes. Due to increasing car usage and depopulation since reunification, many railway lines have been closed by the unified Deutsche Bahn. Some main lines are still not finished or upgraded according to the VDE, with the Leipzig-Nuremberg line scheduled to come online in December of 2017, almost 3 decades after reunification. Some lines, even those connecting large cities, are still in a worse state than they were in the 1930s, with travel time from Berlin to Dresden slower in 2015 than in 1935. DEGES is the state-owned project management institution responsible for the construction of approximately 1,360 kilometers of federal roads within the VDE, for a total investment of €10.2 billion. It is also involved in other transport projects, including a 435 kilometers of roads for approximately €1,760 million, as well as a city tunnel in Leipzig, at the cost of €685 million. The Federal Transport Infrastructure Plan 2003 includes plans for the extension of the A14 from Magdeburg to Schwerin and construction of the A72 from Chemnitz to Leipzig. Private ownership rates of cars have markedly increased since 1990. In 1988, 55% of East German households had at least one car. In 1993 it had already risen to 67% and to 71% in 1998. This compares to the West German rates of 61% for 1988, 74% for 1993 and 76% for 1998. Politics. The Socialist Party, the left, has been successful throughout Eastern Germany, capitalizing on the continued disparity of living conditions and salaries with Western Germany, and higher unemployment. Far-right. After 1990, far-right and nationalist groups gained followers. Some sources claim mostly among people frustrated by the high unemployment and the poor economic situation. Der Spiegel also points out that these people are mostly single men and that there may also be social demographic reasons. The National Democratic Party of Germany won 9.2% of the vote in 2004 state parliament elections in Saxony, and the party has 8 seats in the state parliament in Dresden, just behind the 13 held by the Social Democrats. Far-right parties also have seats in the parliaments of Brandenburg and in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. In the Saxony state election of September 2009, the NPD lost votes and seats, while in the same month the German People's Union lost its representation in the Landtag of Brandenburg. A survey of 14 to 25-year-olds carried out by the Forster Opinion Poll Institute found that 1 out of 2 youths in Eastern Germany now believe that National Socialism had its good sides. In 2009, Junge Landsmannschaft aus Deutschland, which is supported by the NPD, organized a march on the anniversary of the bombing of Dresden in World War II. There were 6,000 nationalists, met by tens of thousands of anti-Nazis and several thousand police. Demographic development. The former East German states have experienced significant depopulation and extremely low birth rates since 1990, with the recovery in recent years. About 1.7 million people have left the new federal states since the fall of the Berlin Wall, or 12% of the population. A disproportionately high number of them were women under 35. In fact, about 500,000 women aged under 30 have left for Western Germany in the past 15 years. After 1990, the fertility rate in the East dropped to 0.77. In 2006, the rate in the new states was approaching those in the West, and is now higher. Since 1989, about 2,000 schools have closed because of a paucity of children. In some regions, the number of women between the ages of 20 and 30 has dropped by more than 30%. In 2004, in the age group 18 to 29, there were only 90 women for every 100 men in the new federal states. In parts of the state of Thuringia, there are 82 women for every 100 men. The town of Königstein has the biggest demographic imbalance in Europe between young men and women. This is in contrast to many areas in Europe, as many cities across the continent suffer an imbalance of younger women to men. This has led to the concern to local leaders, as a large imbalance of males to females is usually linked to historical social instabilities and increased crime rates. Around 300,000 homes have been demolished in recent years. In parts of eastern Germany, wolves and lynx have reappeared after many decades. Demographic evolution. Brandenburg had a population of 2,660,000 in 1989, and 2,447,700 in March 2013. It has the second lowest population density in Germany. In 1995, it became the only new state to experience population growth aided by the vicinity of Berlin. Mecklenburg-Vorpommern had a population of 1,970,000 in 1989, and 1,598,000 in March 2013, with the lowest population density in Germany. The local Landtag held several inquiries over population population trends, the opposition has requested an annual report on the topic. Saxony had a population of 5,003,000 in 1989, which fell to 4,044,000 in March 2013. It still remains the most populous among the 5 new states. The proportion of the population under 20 fell from 24.6% in 1988 to 19.7% in 1999. Dresden and Leipzig are among the fastest-growing cities in Germany, both rising the population over 500,000 inhabitants again and in strong contrast to the other districts of Saxony. Saxony-Anhalt had a population of 2,960,000 in 1989, and 2,253,000 in March 2013. The state has a long history of demographic decline. Its current territory had a population of 4,100,000 in 1945. The emigration already began during the GDR years. Thuringia had a population of 2,680,000 in 1989, and 2,166,000 in March 2013. In Thuringia, the migration has less of an impact than the decrease of the fertility rate. Former Minister-President Bernhard Vogel called for a stop to the exodus of skilled workers and young people. Total change in population of former East Germany is from 15.273 million in 1989, just before reunification, to 12.509 million in 2013. A decrease of 18.1%.